Welcome to another episode of Footprints right here on Solar TV. My name is Sandra Agyeman, your host for this show, and as you know, this program is designed to showcase some of our Ghanaian individuals who have left behind impressive footprints for others to emulate. And today we will be speaking to a young lady named Gifty Amokwandoh. She was born and raised here in the Netherlands. She studies pharmacy at the University of Utrecht. Besides studying during the week, she is also a public speaker. She hosts gospel concerts, Ethnic Praise being one of them, and also God is Love concert, which took place in 2016. And in addition to that, she also likes speaking at places such as the Word Expo, which also took place in 2016. In addition to all her speaking activities, she also likes to speak at educational symposia, an example being the African Pharmaceutical Symposium, which took place at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. This happened recently in 2017 to be precise, and now she's also speaking on health symposia in Amsterdam. In the coming December, she'll be doing the exact same thing. Well, we will talk to Gifty about the use of, should I say, herbal medicine. And so if you will just take a seat and maybe grab something to drink, and I hope you enjoy the show today. Hello, Gifty.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually. First of all, thank you for making time to sit with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I think we'll just get straight to it. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you remember from, let's say, your childhood, because you were born here in the Netherlands.
Yes.
How was that like growing up?
Growing up, I would say, was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have two loving parents, grew up in a very Ghanaian home, and then of course you have that very strong contrast when you go to school,
Mm-hmm.
because predominantly the people I went to school with were Dutch.
Yeah.
So still very lovely. I was one of the students in class who easily made friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever someone was having their birthday, I would be one of those children who would always be selected for klasrond. I don't know if you know that. So when the birthday celebrant goes by different teachers
Mm-hmm.
to give them chocolate. So I was always in the top 3 of children always chosen to go around. Always loved to talk and chat with other people, and it just went on from primary school education through to secondary.
Okay, so that is like really how you were as a child. So tell me, how was really school days for you? The earlier stages of school?
Well, school days for me were, I would actually say, a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
I loved to study,
Mm-hmm.
still like to learn. So it was easy for me. And I remember when I was in groep 3, when I was
Mm-hmm.
about 6 years, 7 years, I would actually help other students who are also in Group 3 who had difficulty reading.
Okay.
I would help them read to, I think, diminish the workload of the teacher, who was actually using me in that way, very strategic. But so I was doing that to help those other students at that young age, and just kept going. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So tell me, do you also visit Ghana often?
Yes, I have been to Ghana, I think, more times than I can count on my hands. I used to go every year with my parents.
Yeah.
So Ghana feels like home. Ghana is home, actually.
Yeah. And that also means you maintain like a regular contact, or you have like really friends that are in Ghana. So whenever you go, you know where you're going or who you're hanging out with.
Yeah, predominantly, first of all, I used to go to Ghana then with my parents, going on family visits. But later on, like last year and this year, for example, it became more of also making my own friends.
Yes.
So now I also have people that I connect with and talk to on a regular basis.
Okay, good. So tell me, where are your parents from in Ghana?
Okay, my father and my mother are both from Central Region.
Okay.
So my father is from Amokwandoh Nasi, to be precise, and my mother from Cape Coast, Sassi.
Okay, so that means you are Fanti.
That means
yes,
I am
I think you have to make that clear. So tell me something. What is the role your parents played in your life?
Yeah. My parents, I always say I'm very fortunate to have had those. I know many people would say that about their parents.
Yeah.
I always see it to be that I'm very blessed to have had those two as my parents, because my father, I always see him, has been and still is my coach, to put it. He's had many functions, of course, but predominantly would put him as the coach in my life, and my mom as my support. So my dad is always telling me never to become complacent, in his own words, swollen-headed. Don't become too comfortable with what you have, and look forward to what you can do. And my mom is always there to give me that support or lend an ear whenever I feel like I need someone to talk to. She's always there to talk to.
Yeah, she's always there to talk to.
Yes.
I happen to know your mom, so I know that she's always there to talk to. That's 100% for sure.
Yes.
So tell me, Gifty, before we go on, if you were to describe yourself in 3 words, what will that be?
3 words, I would say compassionate, contributive, ambitious.
Ambitious, definitely ambitious.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, also another thing, because, well, we know ourselves.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, have you ever had to make a difficult decision in your life?
Yeah, I've stood for moments that I've had to make difficult decisions.
Really?
Well, I would say there's one in particular. I am a person who always makes decisions based on what I want my future to look like.
Yeah.
So in that respect, it's easy to make decisions when you know where you're going to.
Yeah.
But there was a particular moment in my life that I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do professionally.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure which course to take in my tertiary education. That's where I had to choose, being it either medicine, to become a medical doctor, pharmacy, to become a pharmacist, and I really was a very difficult decision, or anything else.
So tell me, how did you then eventually manage to make a choice? Because I know this is something that a lot of young people go through, really, like making the choice as to what to go and study, and the fact that if you make the wrong choice, you're only setting yourself back, because somewhere along the line you will realize, like, okay, hold on, this is not what I want to do. Then unfortunately you will have to start all over again. So in your case, first of all, do you feel that you made the right decision?
Definitely.
You feel like you made the 100%.
Yes.
So tell me, what was the decision making process like? What did you look at, and how did you come to choosing what was right for you?
All right. Well, what I will say, first of all, and I say this also to my kid brother, is whenever you are in a moment or you have to make a decision, and you're doing it maybe even on luck, just make sure that whatever you do, you don't look back and say, I wish I had given more. If you can totally exploit something, you can move on with more peace.
Yes.
That's what I did. I actually started applying for medicine first, and I passed for the test. So that would mean, yay, become a medical doctor, right? But there was a second part of the selection procedure, which entailed that I had to have extracurricular activities.
Yes.
So maybe you were in certain kind of associations or anything. And although I passed for the test, my activities besides school were not interesting enough. So based on that, they declined me.
Okay.
So I had to look for something else. So in that year, I actually studied to enroll into med school again. And when it didn't work, I chose pharmacy.
Okay.
Because that was the other thing that was closest to my heart.
Does that mean that your initial dream or your initial thing that you wanted to do was actually medicine?
Yeah, that was the initial idea in my mind. When I finished my secondary school education, I was going for becoming a medical doctor. Yes.
Okay. But now you are really happy and satisfied with the choice, as in being studying pharmacy?
Yes, I am very, very pleased with the decision because I gave my all. It didn't work out then, and I really believe everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And now having started pharmacy and being here on my journey, I have found my passion.
Yeah.
So I believe that this was really the doing of God.
Yeah, this is
In
how it
His
was
own
supposed to
wisdom.
go. Yes. So, I mean, we've already touched a bit about this school stuff. But, you know, like we're saying, medicine, pharmacy, all these things. When you're done with this,
Yes.
when you've completed everything and you have your degrees and whatnot, I don't know whether you go for a PhD or all those things that, you know, comes to play.
Yeah.
How are you preparing yourself for the job market when you finish this, all this? How are you, what are the steps that you're taking at this point already?
Yeah.
Or the things that you're doing to prepare yourself so that you are ready for the job market?
What I am doing predominantly is making sure that my activities and the decisions I make during my curricula, they match what I want to do. So, for example, my thesis that I wrote is about herbal medicines.
Yes.
It was because it was an interest of mine, but also something that I could see myself working with in the future. And it's also a part of pharmaceutical sciences. So for that reason, I chose that path so that I could expand my network in that area, so that eventually when I'm done studying, I at least know a few people here and there and can continue forward from there.
Okay. So when we talk about the pharmaceutical field itself, it's broad.
It's very broad.
So which occupation exactly do you aspire to occupy when you are done? When you get to that? Yeah.
Yes. As pharmacists, you can do so many things.
Yes.
You can work in a public pharmacy, the ones we see. You can go to a hospital pharmacy. You can work in the pharmaceutical industry. And you can also work for the government, Ministry of Health or Defense. They need pharmacists as well. So I was looking through all these options, but none of them really clicked. But I think I have found what I really want to do now. It's kind of like the FDA of America in Europe. It's called EMA, so the Europe Medicines Agency. They also have a committee for a herbal medicines protocol. And I really want to be one of the people who makes decisions on which herbal medicines are allowed into the European Union. Why yes or why no?
Why no? Okay.
Yeah.
We will talk more about this herbal medicine in a bit. But tell me, in your whole educational life of how far you've come so far, have you had any challenges at all, or should we just think, okay, because sometimes the challenges are not just only you being smart or not. There are just other challenges just in life and stuff in general. So have you faced any challenge with regards to your studies?
I have. I mean, it would be inhumane for me to say I haven't. That's what I believe. I have had struggles, challenges. When it came to, for example, mathematics, I remember it got to a point that I actually asked for my mathematics teacher to sit with me extra hours to make sure that my mathematics was on point. Because when he started, I followed everything, I was good. But when he started talking about trigonometry, I just lost it.
You just
I
didn't
just
know.
did not know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it's very vital for your exams. So he offered to sit with me every Saturday, which is outside of school hours, and make sure that I worked it out, just practicing and getting better at it every day. And that is how eventually I got to master it. So
Okay.
I don't run
So
away from
then
those
this teacher was
challenges.
just your normal teacher at school, and he or she really offered to just, give you extra lessons outside school hours.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because I was like, hey, I really need this. Can you give this?
That's very, very kind of this person.
Yeah, very,
yeah.
very.
So tell me, one thing I also know about you is that, well, viewers, myself and this young lady here, we kind of related, so it's very difficult to, but I've seen you many times and you're experimenting with something. I remember there was a day you had this pot on the fire. No, it had to be in water on the fire, and it had to be, how many hours? It's a couple of hours.
2 hours.
And I remember, and you left. And I remember I was there with your mom and we were thinking, hey, when is this thing going to finish boiling? but the water is finishing. Should we add more water or we just leave it like this? So we didn't know what to do. And eventually we just left the thing on the fire and the whole thing busted.
The pot cracked.
The pot cracked. But I think the idea was that we were supposed to add more water, right?
That was the idea.
But you didn't explain it like that, But my point is, you're always experimenting with all these things. There was another time as well, you came with some cream that you've made. I mean, tell me, this experiments, you just do it out of yourself, or it's something that you have to do for school?
No, it's not what I have to do for school. We have subjects. We have to do like make creams. We've had that. So I actually use that knowledge to make creams for myself. So making body butters, hair butters, making hair oils, all these things with our African oils which have been gifted to us. I just put them together in some concoction and some concentration, and then I just work it out to see what I end up with.
Yes. So tell me, out of some of the experiments that you've done, has any of them come out like really like, hey, this actually worked. This is a good product. It's working. Has that happened yet?
I have had that.
Yeah.
I've had products that I use during the winter time when my skin gets very dry now, because it's very good for my skin. I use it and I add some scented oils to make it smell good. So I do use some of them, not all. But
some of them, the ones that work.
The ones that, they all work eventually, but it's more so when you make certain oils.
But why do you do this? You just like experimenting, or you just want to create something? Do you think you will ever get to a point that maybe you will create this fabulous cream and then you just like start selling it, and you have like the Gifty Amokwandoh cream or lotion, or a toning cream or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually had this ambition, and I still think I'll continue to work it out at some point in my life, that I actually want to create a skincare line for African skin. So that was also part of my motivation, why I was always putting these things together. I've shifted that to the side now, but it's still on my to-do list.
Yes, I know, because I've had one of your concoctions before. That was for hair, and that thing worked good, because my hair was never like this. But thanks to Gifty, she did something. She had jasmine and some other oils. It's finished now, so you have to give me another round of Well, I'm looking forward to this actually.
Right.
So also tell me something. You went this year. You went to Ghana.
Yes.
With a purpose. You actually visited the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Yeah, that's true.
And share with us some of the experiences you had when you were there.
All right. It was a very eye-opening experience, first of all, because at the KNUST where I went, they were hosting an African pharmaceutical symposium. So from Egypt all the way down to South Africa, from Tanzania to Gambia, all around in Africa, pharmaceuticals associations brought their representatives to Kumasi.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all there to speak about integrating herbal medicine and orthodox medication. Because like you know, in Ghana, most of the people still rely on herbal medicine.
Yes.
They use it, it's familiar, it's known, they like it. And we also have orthodox medications that are being used. And it's a fact, it's known and it's proven that they can have interactions with each other, be it positive or negative.
Yes.
So the question for us as upcoming pharmacists then was, how do we integrate it? How do we advise a patient on what to use? So professors from Nigeria flew in, professors from the KNUST itself. They gave us some lectures about those things, and we really discussed and brainstormed.
Okay.
It was a very
So you
nice
did this out. I mean, what exactly? You just felt you went there to take part of this program, or you were invited to come and do something at this program?
I actually was invited to be like the MC, the host of the program.
Yes.
So it was a 7-day program, and from the beginning all up until the end, I was hosting all the professors who came to speak and introduce them to the audience and make sure the audience was engaged and all of these things.
And you also spent time at the university, as in you stayed there.
I was there for that program and
yeah.
then afterwards I flew back to Accra for my thesis,
For
my
your
actual.
thesis. So tell me, how did you find the Kwame Nkrumah University? How was it like? Like, just compare the two. The university there and let's say University of Utrecht, where you go let's say on a daily basis. How did you experience? Okay,
so all I can say is because I was in one hall most of the times.
Yes.
I cannot give a comparison in terms of my ICT department or anything. But seeing the campus itself is very well organized.
Yes.
It's actually a university campus that looks very good. They have all the facilities needed for their students right there. It's very huge. You actually need a bus to shuttle from location to location.
Yes,
so I was impressed.
Yeah, you were impressed. Okay. Well, that's good too. That's a good feedback actually.
Yeah, it is.
Some of us. Yeah. So we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue our discussions with Gifty Amokwandoh. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome to this episode, actually a continuation of our discussion with Gifty Amokwandoh right here on Solar TV. We're going to continue right where we left off, and I hope you're still enjoying the show. So still grab something to drink or something to eat and enjoy the show as we continue. So Gifty, we're going to talk about family life. Right. You are a young lady.
Yes.
How does a family life look like for you? I mean, in terms of where do you live, for example?
I live with my parents,
Mhm.
so I go to the university campus and then I come back to
Mhm.
the university grounds. Then I come back every day traveling by train.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and do you have siblings as well?
Yes.
How many?
We're four.
Four.
And I have an elder sister, and then my little brother, and then my kid sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're the second.
I'm the
on this
second born
position.
of four.
Okay.
Yes, 3 girls and a boy.
So tell me, how is life like being a young adult and still living with your parents?
Living at home is a blessing. You come
Mhm.
home, mama's always prepared food. And in some ways, it can also be annoying when there's too much noise when
Yeah.
you're trying to study. So I always try to balance the two as much as possible. So whenever I'm studying, I just study in the library, make sure I get everything done before I come home.
Mm-hmm.
But it helps us a lot because you can always take lunch from home.
Yes. Okay. So is that really the only advantage of staying home? The
you know,
lunch and the dinner part.
well, it's not just that. It's also just home.
Yeah.
It's where the heart is, in a way.
Yeah.
It's cozy. I find it very cozy.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't trade that for anything else, actually. I like coming home and seeing my kid brother and talking to him, giving my sister a hug, saying hi to mom. It's just that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also tell me what is your personal take on communication with parents in today's with the generation of today,
Yeah.
the younger ones?
Yeah.
Sometimes I do know it can be very complicated how
Mm.
you communicate with your parents because, well, you were born here in the Netherlands, you
Yes.
have a different mentality
That's
or a
true.
different approach, and then we have our parents who are sometimes, well, very traditional with regards to certain things. How do you communicate with your parents?
Well, my parents and we can communicate very well
Mhm.
because my father, for example, always, whenever he shows his ideas or
Mhm.
tells us what he feels of something, gives us the room to tell him what we feel, and
Yes.
my mom as well. So that is what makes it easy for us to communicate with him and my mother as well. We have that, even though we do not agree on certain points, there's always room and space for communication to
Yeah.
find a solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, why it's working on your end is the fact that they also give you room to share your. It's not
Their
like
views.
you have to do this and that's just how
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
supposed
they
to be.
extend that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, well, yeah, you are a young lady, Gifty. I'll just go straight to this question.
Alright.
Is there someone special in your life, or can any nice, intelligent person, be able to talk to you or try and get closer to you?
Okay. Well, simple question and a simple answer. I always say I really like the idea of men coming and asking the question themselves.
Mhm.
So they can come and ask me the question and I'll give them the truth.
Well, I'm shocked. But basically, what the young lady is saying that if you need to know, then you have to ask her in person.
That's it.
Right?
That's it, yes.
That's a very tactical answer. Oh my God, Gifty. Okay, so we're going to get to the general issues and advice section of this interview program.
Yes.
And this is actually the part where we talk about everything or anything that is affecting the community, or maybe just any topic that we would like to talk about, and we debate or discuss, and we can share ideas and see how far we come. So what I wanted us to talk about today, and that has to do with herbal medicine.
Yes.
And I think you already touched on it a little bit. I know that this year, actually it was, let's say mid this year, you wrote an article about the use of herbal medicine.
Yes.
And this article actually got published in one of Dutch's most respected newspapers, which is very good, it's positive, the Volkskrant, by the way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, why did you, You seem to have an interest for herbal medicine,
Yeah.
or what we call a bibidro. You seem to have an interest
Yes.
for this. Why is that? Where does that interest come from?
The interest really comes from the fact that I see so many African people using it, and it's not clear how it works and what it does.
Yeah.
I've had many encounters at home of uncles, aunties who came by. They were like, "Oh, my knee hurts. I am going to Ghana for my medicine." And then they go to Ghana and they come back and they're like, "It's gone." And I've had an occasion that I also described in my article that was published, that my dad actually came home with a bottle and said to my brother, "You can use this, very good for athletic performance, it'll make you fast." But there's no indication of ingredients, nothing. And you just have to trust it that
and
it
just
works.
drink it.
So I wanted to know what's in it. It's more of my inquisitive way of thinking, and also because I see many people in my community use it. I want to know, is it harmful or not?
You see, yes.
Yeah.
And this medicine was to make him fast?
That's what my dad said.
Hey.
And that's what the herbal doctor said to my dad.
Really?
That it would make him very fast and strong.
That something will make you strong, I understand, but it will make you fast, as in running fast.
Yeah, so it would actually empower your muscles in a way that you would become faster. Exactly.
That's like a Superman potion.
That's what you would think, exactly. So eventually, because I looked at it with a lot of skepticism, my kid brother too, he didn't drink it.
So tell me, when you decided, well, I want to know more about this bibidro, how it works, what are the advantages and so what did you find out?
So when I went to do the research and I came back, what I found is that there is proven effect of herbal medicines. There are so many. You cannot say they all work. Most of them also seem to work against multiple diseases. So one herb, for example, would work for hypertension. It would also work for diabetes. It would also work for arthritis. Just that one thing. So there's a lot of research still to be done. Like what part of the plant works for what?
Yes.
Because every part, the stem, the bark, the leaf, has different
functions
workings.
as well. Okay.
Exactly. So, but pre-clinically, they've tested it on animals.